Yeah, hello friends, welcome to automation using Eggplant Studio. So Eggplant is yet another beautiful tool of automation using which we can automate web applications, we can automate APIs, also we can automate mobile applications. So and also the desktop based applications also. Fundamentally, Eggplant um, is claimed to be automating at different layers. So one is UI layer, which is a graphical user interface, obviously. So you can automate the UI layer with different approaches. So if it is an object-based identification tools like Selenium and UFT, right? UFT and many more. So we have a lot in the market, Tosca and all. So they all do automation of the application at a user level. So Eggplant also can do that. And to automate the application at UI level, mostly it uses two ways of identifying an object apart from the way of identifying using the object properties. And those two ways are, one is using OCR and another way is recognizing the objects using the image recognition techniques. So majorly it uses these two techniques when you wanted to automate an application, which is the GUI application. And when you wanted to automate again the GUI application in another way, which is identifying the application by its object properties, like a tool which is Selenium, um, UFT, and so on, right? And Catalan Studio. So all the object-based identification capabilities is also something which is there in the Eggplant Studio as well. And also Eggplant can do API automation as well, and Eggplant can connect to the database with different databases such as SQL and so on, and it can do the database testing also. Of course, automation, whichever testing we're talking about, everything is automation in a sense. So that's about how Eggplant sees an application and automates an application at these three different layers, right? So we got what Eggplant can do. Now let us see what Eggplant is all about. Right. Okay. So fundamentally, Eggplant has two components. One is called Eggplant Functional Studio, which is what you are seeing now, and there is another application which is called DAI, which is Digital Automation Intelligence. This is another component as part of Eggplant. So when you buy the Eggplant product, it comes with two components fundamentally, and I'm talking about functional automation parts actually. Right. There is another flavor for Eggplant which is for performance testing. Again, there is another model of Eggplant which is for different other testings. But when it comes to functional automation, it comes with two main components. One is Eggplant Functional, and this is the Eggplant DAI, which is Digital Automation Intelligence. And Eggplant Functional, which looks like this, is where you actually develop your test scripts which you wanted to automate. We'll see in detail like what Eggplant function is all about in detail. And this is digital automation intelligence. It is a lightweight kind of cloud-based portal where we can track our test cases. So this is kind of mostly about reporting and to track the progress of test cases. And this is from where you can also execute test cases. So functionally is majorly about developing the test cases. But of course, you can do execution here as well and so on. But DA is a suggested way. And in DA, we have these modules: dashboard, designer, controller, and insights. So inside dashboard, you can see model based design and test cases dashboard. So when you run or execute test cases, this is the place where you can you know see the dashboards of stats which are related to how many test cases are run on some particular day and so on, how many are passed, how many are failed, how many are errored out, how many have cancelled, and so on. So you can see various graphical representation of the runs which are scheduled. You can see a pie chart and so on. You can select the suit which is executed and so on. So model based testing, so this is the place where you can design the models. Okay, let me show you a sample model. Mm, okay, there are no models which are run here. So this is about the execution results only, but we can see the models here which are defined. Exploratory testing dashboards are, it will uh, you know analyze the result and execution runs which you have run, and it will bring some statistics based on the runs what you have done, and it will help you with some information which is crucial to detect the bugs. So which area is having more bugs that are identified, and it will show the coverage charts also. So these are all deep level concepts which we will see eventually, but this is just a high level overview. Designer is a place where you can see you can design the models. So you can just see a sample model, and we'll learn more about what are the models are all about. This is also called BDO model testing, and this is test case based runs. These are where you can select the models, you can select the test suites and so on. Test suites is where you can actually import the test suites which are developed in Eggplant function, and you can maintain them over here. You can see the snippets, and you can see the flow which is followed when you execute a certain set of test cases, and many more. Similarly, control has these level of components, so we'll see all of them in detail in the coming sessions. But this is all about, in short, what it means, digital automation intelligence component of Eggplant. Now let's go back to the Eggplant functional, right? Okay, here we know already what is automation. So in simple terms, I would put automation into this way. Automation is nothing but automating your navigation of the application and verification. So in short, it is nothing but automating the navigation and the validations of an application, right? So I don't want to again explain the fundamentals of automation. I'm just leaving it to you. So that is completed. And Advanced functional infrastructure and install. We have seen the infrastructure. So majorly it has two components which we have already done. Installation is something I don't want to cover it up, as that is basic. You can just go to the website and install it yourself. All the components, Eggplant functional, and the steps are already there. So So if you want it explicitly, you can mention the comment, then I'll talk about it, but normally it is self-explanatory. Explore different connection types. Okay, we'll go through that one. Before we go through that one, let's try to understand the major components of Eggplant functional, right? So this is how the tool looks like once you launched from the shortcut, and this is there after installation on your desktop. And fundamentally, you can see the left pane of this entire screen, and you can see this is a major pane, and this is another pane, which is a bottom pane. So in these panes, like it's like this is place obviously which you can figure it out. This is where you can start coding, start automation of your test cases, right? And down below you can see the output. So you can see the output once you run the test case. Script checker is where you can see once you start scripting any compilations errors when you compile the code, or any warnings or any error messages is what you can see over here. And coming to the important part, which is left side of this pane, and you can see here, so this indicates scripts, which is nothing but this part of the screen. This indicates about images, which is over here. So this is a kind of image repository, which is an equivalent to object repository in your EFT, and also your object repository in Catalan Studio, and all the other tools like Cypress and so on, right? So you can compare it with those tools. And also if it is automation based on your Selenium, so obviously in Selenium also you'll maintain some object repository, but that doesn't comes with the framework of Selenium. You have to make your repository, so that's a disadvantage. And when it comes to Selenium and open source tool, and that is the advantage when it comes to the license tool like this. So the framework is certainly defined to certain level, so that's the only advantage. You will save a lot of time in design your basic framework. So this is the image repository, and this is tables. So whichever you wanted to see, right, you just click on here and it will appear over here. If you don't want to see it, again click on it, it will disappear. Similarly, if you don't want to see the image repositories, click on this one, it will go off. So you can see what you wanted to see, right? And this is about features. So this comes and plays a role when we are talking about BDF framework, which we will see later. And this is about API tests. So it comes into action when you are talking about API test cases. This is about results, and this is about schedule. So you can schedule your test execution. So we'll see that later. And this is about resources. So resources is nothing but a place where you can actually maintain your data sources, and you can store the results also. You can store the results here by default. At the same time, if you wanted to generate HTML report, right, this can be placed on the resources as well. So these are the major components, and let us try to understand about each component 1 minute each, right? But before that, let us complete these two things also. Settings is where you can actually maintain your helper suits, which we'll see later. And this is the place where you can actually when you wanted to run some script before every script, this is where you can check and call in. Similarly, after every test case, if you wanted to execute a particular script, utility script, you can call it here. Similarly, before running a selection and after running a selection. So this is similar to a test engine notation, right? So that's what this is all about. Now let's go to sessions. So this is about record and playback feature which Eggplant has. So when you record a particular section, this will appear over here, and then you can load it into your scripts from here. So we'll see that later. So that's about sessions, and whichever you are accessing, right, this will appear over here. You can see, right? So here we have some sample test cases which we have created. So now let's go one by one. So scripts is the place where you, by the name, obviously you understand that this is the place where you wanted to maintain your test cases. So you can create folders. I created two folders like test cases and utilities, which is where you will maintain your reusable functions and methods, right? And you can just right click on this and you can create either new script, you can create a new folder, and a new folder you can create test cases like this. So for now, I'm just keeping it simple. I'm just having two folders only. One is for maintaining my test cases, and another folder is for maintaining my reusability code as we go on automation. For now, these are not much, these are empty for now. And images is a place where you maintain your images. So we already understand, right? Eggplant is an image based automation tool primarily to start with. Later we'll talk about advanced way of automation using without images also. But fundamentally for now, let's understand that okay, we are going by images. So you're maintaining images also. Similarly to the test cases, here also you can create folders. Under folders you can keep the images, and how the folders are created is based on how smart you are designing your automation framework. So if you wanted to create a framework in terms of modules, you will name the modules. So you'll create folders for each module. Under each module you will store your images which are associated to the test cases for the application, right? So this is a place where it is tricky, and this is where you know how smartly you create your automation framework, and which is a key to most reliability or robustness of the framework that is creating. So that entirely depends on that architect who is designing the framework. But of course we'll see some common notions or some what we call basic fundamentals of building a good framework, right? And results is where you can see by the name it is indicating, after every run you will see the results over here, right? So that's all about in brief about the visible components of the Eggplant functional. And here you can see, right, so we have Eggplant file, edit, run, connections, control, windows. So we will see eventually in the coming sessions.
If you like this video, click on the like button, and if you like it even more, don't forget to subscribe this channel, and also don't forget to spread a word to your friends who are looking for such content. And also, if you have any questions, also if you want to join this mission with us, please do write to sharetesttube@gmail.com. And also, if you have missed any of these videos, and also if you are a person who likes to read the content as this, please visit 4webstyles.blogspot.com. Thank you for watching this video.